Hey everybody, Hamster Sales here with another Starcraft 2 commentary. This time PvT on Antigua shipyards. I'm the Blue Zerg as always, and Baluka, who is extremely bad manner, the Red Terran in the south position, getting extremely personal right off the bat. I have no idea what he's talking about. I've never played this guy before. Some pretty vulgar chat. I apologize if you weren't prepared for that. I do myself cuss from time to time, but nothing quite like that. So I hope you were prepared for that. I hope your state of mind was ready for that huge BM from Baluka here. As you might have already seen, this is kind of just a celebration video where the result is not in any is well known. I've titled essentially the result of what happens from this video. That's right, I am in Diamond League. I'm so happy I got promoted. This was the game that got me there, which started out so bizarrely. I think this is the last message I get from him. It was kind of distracting and weird, so I decided to just block him off. He wasn't really responding to me at all. He was just talking about his penis a lot, so I decided to block him there. I think it was also partially because the last BM Terran I played actually stomped me, so maybe I was feeling a little vulnerable. I'm not sure exactly why I blocked him. After the case, I watched the replay once. I kind of wish I had let him just ramble on with his BM after the fact, but maybe that's why I was able to concentrate, why I was able to win this game. Yeah, I like this map, Antigua Shipyard, so you can take this third pretty easily as a Zerg. Terran can take these, they're natural pretty easily, but it's actually relatively difficult to hold this third. It's very exposed rather to Muta harass, which I like. I've been going heavy Muta against Terran lately, which is pretty cool. It's been working really well for me. I've just been playing a lot better. I've been playing faster, I've been playing more efficiently, making less mistakes, playing very competitively. When I was still Platinum, getting matched up against a lot of lower into mid-diamond players, and just won most of my matches, and I got my promotion. If you've been looking into how to get promoted, it really just boils down to, I mean, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and Blizzard, of course, doesn't make it very obvious. You never really know when you're going to get promoted. It doesn't have too much to do with your ranking within a league. If you're winning a vast majority of your games and playing a lot of games, no matter what league you're in the lower leagues, you're pretty much going to get rank 1 if you're active and winning. So that's kind of more of a side effect, more of a symptom than the cause of why you're getting promoted. The fact that you're rank 1. Like I was rank 1 within my league, but yeah, I mean really the only concrete information we have is that there's something called MMR. That's called matchmaking rating or matchmaker rating, that informs you of it's a number Blizzard keeps based on your performance, and it's all based on the strength of the opponents that you win and lose against. That's kind of stored on Blizzard servers. You never get to know that number exactly, but if you're getting matched from players from a higher league, it means you're playing pretty well. If you're getting matched from players from a lower league, it means you're not playing so well. And if you win enough games, they will bump you up a league. The one thing that seems pretty consistent from what people have kind of researched or just word of mouth is that, what was I going to say? God, I just completely spaced out. It's actually very conservative rating. So if you're playing on kind of a diamond level or platinum, whatever level is above your current level, they'll be very conservative about actually moving you up. The consensus is, and I think Blizzard just kind of confirmed this, that they want you to play very well, kind of at or above low, like I was platinum, so they want me playing at or above low diamond, because they don't want you to get into the next league and just get completely smacked around. So they want you playing a little bit better than like a low diamond player would be for a consistent period of time. So that was kind of rambly, I apologize for that, but yeah, I don't know, this is a video about me ranking up, so I figured I'd talk about what I know about the rank up system. So far it's boiling down to a pretty standard ZvT, taking my expansion at a pretty normal time. Yeah, I got it on 20 supply. I don't do the fast hatch at all. Like my hatch comes on 20 supply generally. A lot of Zerg do get it a little earlier than that, but I really like getting my spawning pool first. And I get 2 queens right off the bat, which really helps production and really does not hurt economy versus a fast expand. It's such a risky build, really. If Terran scouts it and feels a little frisky, they can just roll into your base, repeatedly punch you in the face and make you quit and cry. So I like to stay away from any kind of fast expand build. And I haven't tested this, but some people are saying that it's really not much more efficient for long-term economy. I think it was something like 10 minutes into the game. It's actually really minimal mineral difference, something like 150 mineral difference at like the 8 or 10 minute mark or something. That's all off the top of my head. I could be a little off on that, but it's really not a huge economic advantage to get your hatch first, and I find it extremely risky. Some players are pretty good at holding off that early aggression, and it could be good for kind of forcing that early aggression if you're really confident you could hold it off, if that you're the superior player. But I really don't like it. I don't like early aggression from Terran, so I like to expand in a more safe fashion. We do have a drop coming in here. First real action of the game. Baluka is dropping 4 blue flame hellions in my base. I am losing all my drones. He's burning them up. And I get them clumped on the ramp here, so his kills are going to skyrocket. Gets 12 workers killed. That was much more effective than it should have been. I had plenty of queens and spines to deal with it. Even though he dropped into my base, I had 3 queens at the time. I think this third one was not hotkeyed. But I did have 2 queens wailing on them. I had zerglings coming in. So I lost 12 workers and some units. That has that in there too. Yeah, I lost 18 units overall, so 6 zerglings in addition to the workers killed have been killed so far this match. So that's an extremely effective harass, obviously. He got a ton of damage done that way, dropping hellions in there. Let's check out the workers count. I'm still up by 5, so I was droning pretty hard prior to that attack. I'm no doubt droning back up. Yeah, harassed by a Terran player doesn't necessarily mean they're going to push out or anything. They just want to get that damage done. It probably would have been smart for Baluka, the man infatuated with his own dong, to wow, voice crack on the word dong. That's not good. But anyway, the guy fascinated with his own dong really should have expanded behind that drop harass, because it was a very good harass, but he really didn't advance his position very much. He's still sitting on a relatively meager force. But looks like he's going to go for some more harass. He's getting 16 Marines into these medevacs. Going to be dropping all over my stuff, trying to ruin my day. With 16 machine gun wielding maniacs. Super overpowered unit. I'm pretty well prepared for this. I usually drop a spine in my main if I get some kind of harass done to me, because if they do it once, they're probably going to do it twice. I don't know why he didn't rebuild Hellions. It probably would have been much more effective than these Marines were. At this point in the game, I'm going to have the forces to deal with this, so I don't like the choice to go with Marines here, and they're going to be pretty easily warded off by these Zerglings and my Spine Crawler. You want to keep a tab on the dropship yet. He tries to redrop them here. He probably wasn't even paying attention, went back to macroing, I'm sure, when he did that. But got no damage done there. I killed a few Marines. I'm sure I lost a Zergling or 2. Those might be dead Marines, though. I'm not sure. Regardless, that harass was extremely ineffective. I'm getting my 3rd base. He's still stuck on 1. Finally getting his 2nd. The orbital's been up for a while. It doesn't look like he's used a mule from that yet, though. Dropping the Marines off at home. A little worse for the wear, but they will be healed up. And this is something that's always good to do on maps where your 3rd is a little exposed. If you can find a common ground area like this where you can plop a ton of spines down after you get your creep spread going, it's always a good idea. You can get a line of spine crawlers here that will defend 3 bases essentially from a frontal assault. On Suckas Plateau, the ground is much longer, but you can actually defend 4 bases if you get a pretty long spine row going. And you'll have tons of creep in between, obviously, which is a pretty awesome defensive position for any Zerg. 4 bases is always great to have, too. But yeah, I've gone Muta in the time that I've been battling, and I catch a couple of idle Vikings that were no doubt looking for idle Overlords, but Vikings terrible against Mutalisks, very good for hunting down Overlords, but Against a clump number of mutas, Vikings are just awful. They're not cost effective against mutas at all, and proving it there. Baluka obviously knew that as he ran his Vikings away at the sight of this mutalisk flock, but regardless, I got a couple of Viking kills, and that was excellent. Going into Banelings, I've got a single attack upgrade for my Lings and Banelings. I've got this spine row I was talking about earlier down. Would like to see these tumors utilized more fully. I'm sure I'll spread that at some point. This is something I noticed when I started playing better. I wasn't actively trying to increase it, but my APM went up a little bit. I was sometimes as bad as 65, 75. It's not always a great indicator of how well you're playing, but in many games I've been even as high as 100 depending on the type of game. If it's like a slower game, if I roach Ling all in a Protoss or something. I've had games where I've been at about like 105, 110. So as I played better, I noticed my APM went up a little higher without intentionally trying to spam or anything like that. So just keep practicing, guys. You'll see things like that improve. It was an interesting thing I kind of charted as I watched all my replays, that my average APM went up a little bit as I started playing better, which I thought was pretty cool. Baluka kind of persisting with these Vikings trying to catch Overlords, which I think is a terrible idea once he knows that mutas are out. Mutas are just going to pick those things off. I mean, I guess they're kind of an early warning system. Maybe that's the only reason he has that here, is to see if my mutas are coming in, but then I don't know why he would stick 2 over here. You would think somebody with such a huge penis would be smarter, but I guess not. And Baluka losing those Vikings to my ever-increasing flock of mutalisks. Yeah, I'm getting a pretty big flock there. A murder of mutalisks sounds pretty cool. That's usually reserved for crows. But I do notice that he has his front takes and medevacs and Vikings completely unprotected by Marines. I get a few free kills there, and that's extremely valuable. You want to get as much free damage as you can done with your mutalisks whenever possible. Just because you want to keep the Terran inside their base, you want to increase your mutalisk numbers, get a silly number of Lings and Banelings, which I really don't have at this point in the game, and I really should. 17 minutes is pretty late to not have teched out of muta, or at least gotten just an absurd number of units. I am slowly but surely maxing out, though. I do have a 40 supply or so lead on the Terran. Gonna go in for some mutalisk harass eventually. I'm just really pondering what I'm going to do once I get in here. But I do have 17 mutalisks, and they're going to be able to take out this missile turret, no problem. You left a few Marines in the mineral line here, which I don't like. I mean, I'd prefer to see multiple turrets as opposed to leaving 200 minerals worth of Marines. I think I saw 4 Marines there. Much rather have 2 turrets. It's really much more likely to deter mutalisks. You have more opportunities to try to repair the turrets, but that prompted an all-in move by Baluka. That harass, he is tired of my shit. He's going to try to blow me up. Moving in with the Marines and kind of sloppily setting up the Sea Chanks on creep. Yeah, man, that's kind of brutal. You're going to get overrun by Zerglings and Banelings. I remember I wanted to increase my number here. My ground force getting a little bit larger. He's cleared out all the spines. Would have been kind of nice to engage him there, but I really wanted to make sure I had the proper ground force. Catching these tanks out of position with the mutalisks while I move in with the Lings and Banelings. Gonna be killing all these Marines. Some very nice hits there. Kind of missed microing there. Get him over to those Marines. Yep, there's the last deadly hit. And I'm really sad I had this guy on ignore. I'm sure he was saying some very interesting things about his schlong, but he just leaves the game, and I exit the score screen, and I see my new diamond rank. We can take a look at that real quick. It was very exciting for me. I was extremely happy. My wife gave me a big high five. She was a very good sport about that. Speaking of my wife, she also redesigned my YouTube page, you may have noticed, so big props to her for that and her Photoshop skills. I really like it. Let me know what you think about that. Any comments you have about anything related to my cast, I really appreciate posting those. Upvote the video if you liked it, subscribe if you like me, I guess, and thanks for watching.